Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And I rise today to contribute to the Education and Training Reform Amendment, Victorian Academy of Teaching and Leadership Bill 2021. Victoria's education is one of the key pillars of the Andrews Labor government commitments, and support for our education system and our teachers has been a key feature of every single Labor government in Victoria. So I'm proud to be able to contribute to this important discussion today about delivering even better educational outcomes for our students and ensuring our valued teachers are even more valued by investing in development and leadership. I acknowledge previous contributions by members, in particular the members for Mordialloc, the Parliamentary Secretary for Education, of course the member for Wendouree, who was an ex-teacher, and of course the great member from Hawthorn, who has vast experience in the education sector, and he's in the House with us at the moment. I'd like to start my contribution off today with an anecdote from a constituent of mine from Melton who called up on another issue recently. And while speaking to my office, they mentioned that they were a supporter of mine, which is incredible. I think you will agree it's not often that as members of Parliament we get people calling us up to say something nice to us, but we'll take it when we can. So it was really great to hear from this constituent who mentioned that they have never seen more investment in Melton, and in particular in education, in their entire life living in the Melton electorate. They've had experience receiving an education at Exford Primary School when it was a lot smaller with far fewer students than it is today. So I'm sure they were thrilled, like I was, and many other families, that Exford Primary School received a massive $30 million in funding from this Andrews Labor government recently to renew the total school facility. And I send a shout out to Lisa Campo, who's the current principal at Exford Primary, and her wonderful teachers and staff. And I'm also pleased to inform the House today, as I was just coming into the House, I've just been informed that Orion Builders have just been appointed for a $6.246 million capital works at the Exford Primary School, so I'm really pleased about that. My constituents have also seen the building of an opening of the new Amesbury Primary School, which is just down the road from the Exford Primary School. And I congratulate Phil Collicker, Principal, and all of his staff on their efforts supporting their school community. The constituents had seen family members excited to enrol their children at the new Bridge Road Primary School that will open next year in 2022. And again, I congratulate Chris White being appointed as the principal to the new school. And I know the member for Footscray is very disappointed to lose Mr White to Melton, but I can assure the member for Footscray we will look after him. So thank you for allowing us to take Chris White from Glengala Primary to now the new Bridge Road Primary School. The delivery of infrastructure in Melton was clear to my constituents, and the things that stood out the most was the government's investment in education. What stood out to me in particular of all the many deliveries that they mentioned to my office was the quality of the teachers and the hard working ethic of those teachers delivering education at the schools in Melton. Deputy Speaker, I agree with them, as I have also seen the absolute fabulous work and the commitment that the educators in Melton and across Victoria do to deliver a quality education for our young Victorians. I won't single out any particular schools, but I've seen the resilience and adaptation of staff providing excellent education, especially over the last 15 to 16 months when our whole world has been turned upside down. I, like many other of my colleagues here, want to thank our teachers for the amazing jobs that they do and have done, and the extraordinary effort that they have done through the course of the pandemic. Deputy Speaker, it's these principles which are at the heart of the bill that we are debating here today. This bill will amend the Education and Training Reform Act 2006 to establish the Victorian Academy of Teaching and Leadership as a statutory entity in the education portfolio. The Academy objectives will be to improve outcomes for students through the provision of specialised teaching and leadership excellence programs for exceptional teachers and school leaders. It will increase equity of access to professional learning to lift the quality of teaching across Victoria. It will provide a dedicated pathway for established exceptional teachers to contribute to school and system improvement. It will improve the quality of school leadership. It will also raise the public awareness of the capability and of school leaders and teachers in the science and practice of teaching. Victorian educators access a large amount of professional learning, predominantly from market providers. However, in 2019, there was a VAGO report found there is little evidence about the quality of these programs. Professional learning opportunities that the Academy will design and deliver, the high elite level professional learning for our most exceptional teachers, are just not available elsewhere. This bill will improve the quality of professional learning programs accessed by Victorian teachers and education leaders through direct provision of high-quality professional learning programs for teachers and school leaders, including the Teaching Excellence program, monitoring and evaluation of the effectiveness and impact of the Academy's professional learning programs on teaching practice and student outcomes, and of course publication of guidance for use by providers of professional learning to support development of higher quality offerings and to support the selection of high quality professional learning by schools. The provision of these programs will help Victoria attract and retain educators and is a clear signal to our educators that they are valued and worth the investment in them and our children. The Andrews Labor government has invested $148.2 million to establish the Victorian Academy of Teaching and Leadership. It will be a multi-site academy that will develop high-quality teachers and foster a pipeline of emerging leaders. This is one of the most significant education reforms delivered by the Andrews Labor government and is an investment in our teachers, our students and our state. It will deliver benefits for our state for many, many years to come. The Victorian Academy of Teaching and Leadership will be based in a purpose-designed CBD site, as well as across 7 regional academies, ensuring rural and regional teachers are able to access high-quality professional development regardless of their location. And I think that's important that we have these 7 sites in rural and regional areas for easy access. These centres will be located at Bairnsdale, Ballarat, Bendigo, Geelong, Mildura, Moe and Shepparton. And of course the CBD location is expected to be open early next year and the Geelong site by mid-2022 and the rest of the locations operating by the end of 2022. The Andrews Labor government has a strong track record of delivering for the regions. And I'm very pleased that these reforms deliver the same excellent programs regardless of where our educators are based. And we have seen an explosion of investment in our regions, and everyone is aware that there has been a population shift to our regions recently, primarily due to the pandemic. The Andrews Labor government has been investing in our regions for a long time, and as society, our understanding has shifted over the last 15 or 16 months in how we approach work and our lifestyles. We all now understand that work doesn't need to be in a CBD office or office-centric, and we discover new ways of doing business either working remotely or less time in the office or on site. And many of us are aware or are moving away from central areas, and our families are once choosing to live in rural and regional areas. Therefore, our investments like the ones outlined in this bill, including in developing our rural and regional areas, ensure that our regional and rural teachers get the same level of opportunity as their metro counterparts, and students benefit from the same quality education wherever in the state they reside. The Academy's flagship offering will be the Teaching Excellence program, a 1-year intensive program for up to 500 teachers per year across all sectors, which will cover core curriculum areas including English, mathematics, science and the arts. Other programs will focus on developing a pipeline of emerging leaders and aspiring principals. And through the Academy, our teachers will also have access to the latest research in the science of learning and discipline-based content knowledge, giving them the skills to ensure our kids are growing up as creative and critical thinkers. The bill will confer on the Academy the following functions as outlined: provide advice to the Minister and the Department on school leadership, teaching and professional practice and professional learning. It will design and provide accredited and non-accredited professional learning programs. It will develop and publish guidance materials and resources for use by providers. It will evaluate the effectiveness and impact of the Academy's professional learning programs. And it will work with schools, community organisations, universities, post-compulsory education and training providers, and professional associations and providers of professional learning programs to identify the needs of the profession. And it will improve public confidence in the teaching profession and schools in Victoria through the promotion of the use of evidence-informed practice amongst school leaders. It's because of these reasons that this bill is so important to Victorians and the teaching profession, but also our school communities. And I can't thank our teachers enough for what they do and what they have done, in particular over the last 16 months. And that's why I commend this bill to the House.